Hello, welcome everyone to another plugin review. This time we are looking at Transfer, which is a fresh release from Lese or Lese. I don't know how it's pronounced. Lese or Lese.io has recently released the plugin Sweep, which is a filter for shepherd tones, which is a very interesting and unique use case. It feels a bit like a phaser, but it's different. And Transfer describes itself as a Doppler specializer. And you can get it for $35. And it uses a binaural panning engine to make some creative stuff, so it's not the typical binaural plugin. But I've already tested it and I know that it sounds very good. So I will show you how it sounds like. Basically it looks like this, so that's already important to know. This is the looks that you get. And yeah, in my video I will also compare it to dearVR Music, which is sort of a full-blown binaural panner that I like to use. So this is one that is very serious about its binaural panning and tries to sound very professional and real. And this is one that just tries to give you creative freedom about stuff. And we will see how that affects everything. Alright, so I have this beat. And it does not have a lot of panning in it yet. This is a snare layer that is layered with the snare and the snap. So it would kind of make sense to let it move around a little bit. Oh, by the way, you should listen to this on headphones. I don't have corona, I just ate something a while ago. I think. Yeah, so you should be wearing headphones for this, because the effect of binaural panning is just more prominent on headphones, you know? So left is panning left and right is right. And up is actually elevation, I think. No, elevation is something else. Oh wait, these parameters are grayed out in this mode. Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, so I sometimes confuse the two modes with each other, because there's also this mode. So in this mode, going upwards is like putting something in front of you, and going downwards is putting something behind you. So you can, as you can see, you can turn on damping so that the distance affects the damping factor. So things get very quiet when you dampen them a lot. So you should probably put a gain out on the same track so that you can you know, compensate for that. But I just turn off damping for now, because I like it when it's always more or less the same volume. And as you can hear, this plugin has a Doppler effect. So when the virtual position moves, then you can hear the pitch drift, just as if something drives past you. And there are different types of smoothing. One is in milliseconds, and the other one is in meters per second. So as you can see in this mode, the azimuth and elevation parameters are being used. And in the other mode, the source X and source Y parameters are being used. So what I'm going to do now is I will apply an LFO, a beat LFO on these two parameters. So that's one way to go about that. But I will also apply another LFO with a different speed now, and else with similar settings. Now I get a new shape here. So you can get a lot of different flavors by just doing something like that. And yeah, now let's see how it sounds in the context. Now, of course, this plugin was not meant to be used as a vibrato, and I'm sort of using it as a panning and also vibrato at the same time thingy. And you know, by using the LFOs, and when you dial in a lot of distance, then it can make the sound a little bit untight. So I will now just render this into a new track. And manually dial it back. Actually, I just realized it would have made more sense if I had made this part a little bit longer here. Now I can find a more appropriate place for this track. Great. And now I can remove the track again from this track, so that I can dial in both of these to my taste. Very nice. Actually, let's render both of them into a new track. Oh, no Bitwig. That was not what I intended to do. Maybe I have to do it like this. Yes. And now I have a nice new track that deals with my trashy snare, which now has some nice binaural panning on it. Now I want to try something else. I promised you that I would compare the plugin to dearVR music. So let's do that. Oh. Okay, so let's turn off reflections and reverb because that's not a thing in transfer. So we can have a more fair comparison. Now dearVR Music also has a mode for something that's sort of in between of speaker related sound and binaural sound. I don't know how exactly it works, but let's just use the binaural sound now. And when we activate polar mode, then we can also use the sliders. Now the thing is, without the reflections and the reverb, it's really hard to tell that this is supposed to sound like a very large distance. So it really makes no sense to use the distance feature a lot when there is no damping and stuff. But you also have parameters that you can move and that sound okay when they are moved. Unless you go through your own head, then they sound a little bit glitchy. But yeah, it sounds good. Now comparing this to transfer. Seems to have a slightly darker sound. And also a different volume a little bit. But I would totally say that that the difference is very small. So if you want to save a lot of money, you can just get transfer. And that's like what I wanted to tell you. And now let's move, let's use transfer as a vibrato again. Now by dialing in the mix knob, I actually use it as a chorus instead of a vibrato. And yeah, now I just want to put it into a chain so that I can also give it a little bit of gain. Let's actually make it an automation. First, the effect should be off, and then this little macro will dial it in slightly. Nice, nice. I should take this moment to tell you that I also made a plugin which can be used as a chorus plugin like that. And it's actually available for free, but it's a little bit different because it does not use a binaural engine, and it's called Nell. So in here you can use different modulator types like LFOs. To also make something that sort of sounds like a chorus when you dial in the mix or dial out the mix more like. And yeah, that's also a way to achieve an effect like that. Let's actually try a little bit of stereo with you. Yeah, that's not bad. But I just wanted to tell you that, by the way, because obviously I still want you to think of transfer. It's just that there can be different solutions to the similar things, and it's kind of funny that you can actually make a comparison between a vibrato, a full-on professional binaural panel, and a creative plugin that sort of is somewhere in between of these. And it's sort of the bridge between these two worlds. One could say the transfer between these two worlds. And yeah, sorry that I did not explain all of the parameters in here. Honestly, I don't actually understand everything about it because binaural panning is very complicated. Like separation and spread, what does it mean in binaural panning? And why do some of the parameters only work in some setting? That is probably part of the nature of the algorithm. I can't tell you that, but I don't care. The plugin has cooler workflow. You can do a lot of different stuff with it, like vibrato, chorus, or just simply binaural panning. And yeah, I didn't even go too much into the binaural panning direction now because this beat doesn't really give me an opportunity to do that. But you can imagine if you had like a lot of singers and you record like 4 times the same vocal phrase, and then you wanted to have like different places in the room for each of the voices, then you can probably also just slap transfer on it. And if I ever run into a situation where I have something like that, then I will probably make a follow-up video in which I also show that. Until then, you should just try the plugin yourself, and I hope you're having fun.